On it.
Sukas, thanks, bud. Right here, baby. First message. All right. Give it to me. I'm not the one doing it, man. It's a different guy. It's Neb. Neb in chat is gifting subs. We're just chilling. This matchup is basically impossible. Yasuo as a champion, I don't think is that good, but his win wall makes the lane pretty much unwinnable. Very much impossible to play, and you can't ever beat him.
You've work to do. Get on it.
Our son is almost born. Baby tub Tobias Pox.
Good God. Go Shell, thanks, buddy. Neb, thanks again, man. I see you, dude.
You dare slack on my ship?
Well, me and Ivana are actually expecting a baby. A baby dog. It's a Pomeranian. Bro, you think I'm actually having a child? Hell no! Absolutely not. Bro, if we had a child, oh my god, the life that thing would live. He would be bullied every day of his life by bullies at school for being my son. His self-worth would come from my League of Legends rank. You can't tell me otherwise. Kids would only view him as a worthy child if I was challenger. Kids are something you decide on when you've got a house and you're settled and I live, but oh nice. Even Master E lived. I mean,
Get to work.
yo, Neb, thanks again, man. I see you, buddy. He just keeps gifting them. I don't know, man. If I have a kid, he's watching 80s movies. That's just what it is. Bro's gonna be into Star Wars, gonna be into Warhammer, no TikTok. None of that shit. We'd see, though. I guess you can never really know until you have one. You can't fathom it until it's like a reality. That's with most things, I suppose. TikTok is, I mean, they got, okay, in TikTok's defense, there are videos that aren't degenerate and don't, you know, persuade your kids into eating Tide Pods, but, like, most of it's just kind of whatever. Well, kids relate to social media more these days than their own parents because their parents, like, kids don't interact with their parents, I find. Again, I can't say for certain. Obviously, it's parent to parent and how you've kind of raised your kids, but, like, Kids just have more access to technology, and that's kind of like taking up most of their youth, you know? When I was a kid, my mom did everything with me. We go to parks, we feed ducks, we go to, like, the forest and pick little logs and make, like, little miniature wood cabins and shit. We'd go to, Disneyland, whatever it may be, right? A lot of it was just more time together than, like, on the internet. But again, different times. Yeah, well, you don't see the problem with that? Times just change. What, kids spending more time on the internet? You don't see a problem with it? Times do change, but, like, if I ever have a kid, I think spending time with them is far more important than giving them an iPad. Dude, one of the coolest things I had seen was, I was in a Games Workshop, and a father and son were doing Warhammer together. And I'm like, man, that kind of reminds me a bit of my childhood, but instead my father would show up once a year for child support, and he'd take me to Games Workshop and just kind of, like, say, go get whatever you want, and then threw a bunch of money on the counter. Like, that's not what that kid went through, because that kid's living it bigger than mine, but it's interesting. Selene is pretty impossible. Oh yeah, for sure. Having the internet doesn't mean it takes up most of your life. It's person to person. Every kid is different. It's also kind of like the parents' responsibility to kind of, like, do things with your child, you know? Don't just give them a game and say, forget about it. I'll leave you in your room, do your own thing. Like, sure, eventually kids might want to do more of that, but what kind of childhood is that, man, if your parents don't even take acknowledge of, like, your existence half the time? Well, if you're young, you gotta kind of, like, show your kid everything, no? Or, if they're young. Because kids don't know any better. Kids can't really learn on their own, or, they need guidance. When you're old enough and you don't need that stuff, sure, that's a bit different, but if you've got a kid and they're not that old, you kind of have to, like, show them stuff, you know? At least that's what I think. Again, I'm not a father, I don't know, but well, the internet can kind of teach certain things, yeah? You can learn things by being on the internet, for sure. WikiHow. That dog shit website. Do people, like, unironically use WikiHow? Is that a thing that people actually fuck with? Because every time I hear about it, I'm like, man, that shit's a meme. No. It's a shitty meme. For sure. I mean, that Warwick is extremely fed. I think the only way to win this is to go what I was going to do anyways, which is just full damage TF. Go full damage and pray. Why is Ezreal not going in? No one in. Now, if I wanted to really scale because we're fucking losing horrifically, I could go... no, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. Could've went Ludens, but this is fine. First strike isn't that useful. I've done first strike on accident recently. I've taken like GP runes on TF, and we did pretty damn good. Like, I think first strike TF with full damage netted me like 1,300 gold somehow. So I don't think it's exactly terrible, but it's not something I think I would do more often. And again, I could be wrong, and I could be totally like oblivious as to how broken this thing could be, but I didn't find it to be the best, at least for most of the game. I've always played with Big HUD. That's just what it was since the beginning.
You dare slack on my ship?
Good. Neb, thanks again, man. I kind of like Predator. I don't think it's bad. It still kind of gives you utility. If I was to try and, like, actually want to climb to a specific rank, I think I would still do Pred. It just offers the most utility out of any rune outside of, like, Spellbook. Because the idea of Twisted Fate is to always be doing more than your laner, right? TF is always trying to do something. He's always trying to be proactive and just be everywhere. Predator kind of allows you to be everywhere. You know? You got Ghost, you got Pred, you got Flash, you got TP. You just have a lot of, like, move speed. Well, yeah, well, not necessarily, because the utility you get from... the utility you get from Predator is still very good for solo kills. You get to chase people down. Like, if you're playing full damage TF, Predator still does help you quite a bit. And that's not in the case of, you know, helping your teammates, which it can do really well, it's just good for fighting. Nice. If I was to do something other than Predator and really wanted to try and carry games with full damage, I would probably unironically do Bullet. I'm not gonna lie. Bullet or Predator, I don't like Spellbook. Never been a fan. So I think that's what I would do. Well, they nerfed Ghost, you know that, right? Ghost got nerfed, so if anything, Predator is still kind of better. Nothing got nerfed with TF outside of Rapid Fire Cannon in terms of recent patches. I can probably kill her. I ulted. Kind of a... I'm still probably going to die, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just trailing me right now. Yeah. Maybe they kill him, though, honestly. Nope, they can't. Ezreal's topside splitting. At least Seraphine killed me, which is the fucking support, so I guess that's worth. Unfortunately, Volibear is not very good. Yeah. Well, the thing about TP is just you don't lose waves when you have TP. That's the only reason it's good. It's like a buffer if you can't really lane properly. I don't like it. I made Challenger without using TP once. Every time I've made Challenger on TF, it's with Ghost Flash. Never once have I ever used TP. Same thing with all the champions I've ever played, though. I don't like TP. Just an icky spell. So you could use it or you don't have to, you know? It's all kind of just like what you prefer. At the end of the day, your gameplay matters more than your summoners. Just be better. Just play better.
You dare slack on my ship?
Caesar, thanks, bro. We should be doing Baron. Why are we off Baron? Should just finish it. Good. I stole Baron! I'm a freak! This. Well, that's old school. That's very, very, like, super ancient lore. Exhaust was better back in the day. It's useless now. Once you've realized how far you can push a champion, shit like Exhaust is worthless. Because Exhaust doesn't play into anything but your own survivability, which is very selfish for a character that needs to be very selfless. That's the difference. Exhaust, if you think about Exhaust on anyone, it's more of an insecurity than anything. It's you not being able to play well enough. Now, that doesn't always stay true, because there are characters you have to exhaust. But when it comes to someone like Twisted Fate Mid, who can basically play a one-sided lane phase type of game, you don't need exhaust. It is too selfish. It's too driven around the fact that, like, you're probably not good enough to outplay assassins with gold cards, and you're not good at positioning. Shit like that. I got exhausted, are you kidding me? But that's the idea behind it. Like, I can't think of one matchup on Twisted Fate where exhaust is useful instead of taking Ghost. Because Ghost allows me to play the game better, where Exhaust allows me to survive. But surviving can still be done with Ghost, because it's the same type of deal. It's just like, position better, you have Ghost, or position poorly, and you have Exhaust, and that Exhaust is only used as like a buffer because you can't play the game well enough. Does that make sense? But you don't need Exhaust against Katarina because you can stun her. You don't need Exhaust against Zed because you can stun him. Just position better, play better. Don't use Ws when Zed ults. When he ults, you stun him and walk away. Exhaust on TF is insecure. It's not good. It's because you can't play the game well enough. That's literally it. There is not a game where I think taking Exhaust is ever useful on TF. Not one. Not any matchup, not any game where, like, there's 5 assassins. It's just not useful. You want to push what TF is good at and just pursue that. Well, that's Dopa. He has his reasons. I have mine. Like, Dopa's a very good player, obviously, but I just don't agree with Exhaust. I don't believe Exhaust is useful on TF. This guy flashed.
You dare
Oh, he flashed
slap
and
on
ignited,
my
yeah.
ship?
Another month, another sub.
Lucy, thank you. Or Lucasini. Rose Italian. Thank you, man. How does he get... That dash looks so... like, fast. Why is his dash so fast? Is it me, or is that Yasuo dashing a lot faster than he should? Like, I'm not coping here, right? His move speed? Move speed affects how fast you dash? Is that really a thing? Seriously? I mean, I've never seen a Yasuo dash that fucking fast. That was absurd. I should have stunned him first. Well, that did look hokey. Like, it looks like, you know what it looks like when he actually dashes with his shit into me? It looks like he's gale forcing. That's how fast it looks. Enemy losing their sanity and account in all chat. These are my teams. These are my teammates. Yeah, listen, the one thing you gotta learn is just stop typing in League. It doesn't matter. Your emotion being put onto other people, that shit don't matter, dude. I know you gotta vent, I know you gotta say stuff, but, like, it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And not to mention you're going to get banned. So, like, if you want to play the game, literally don't say anything. Thank God. Fuck Yasuo. Fucking wanker champ. That's what I'm going to say. Listen, I've had an account banned. I've lost my mind over this game. I've been through the ringer. I know exactly how people feel when they say shit. But, like, something will click in your brain eventually to where you just need to enjoy the game and shut the fuck up. It clicked in my brain not too long ago. I'll tell you that, man. Trust me. It's good. And you'll enjoy League more when you do as well. Instead of just playing every game and being miserable over nonsense plays and people flaming you, it's like, man, who gives a shit? Play the game.